Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the online lecture series on Verilog HDL. Myself, Vishwanath Sindhigapnor, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, SICAB Institute of Engineering and Technology. So, before going on to the actual syllabus, let us have a look or let us have an overview of the syllabus which has been prescribed to your particular course. So, in this particular course, what is Verilog HDL that we are going to learn, and coming to your syllabus, the whole syllabus has been divided into 5 different modules. In that 5 different modules, each module is going to cover some of the other different topics. So, when it comes to module 1 over here, so module 1, in module 1 what we are going to learn is the evolution of CADs and emergence of HDLs, typical VLSI or hardware design flow, and why we need to learn this particular course or why we need to learn HDL, and what is the current trend which is being present in the industry if you are going to learn HDL. So that we are going to learn, and coming further, so we are going to study some of the other different types of design methodologies which are being adopted in the industries, such as top-down approach and then bottom-up approach. So how actually these type of methodologies are going to work, so that we are going to study in different types of hierarchical modeling. So, and then we are going to study in module 2, we are going to study some of the basic concepts. If you have a look at, if you take as in your first year, so you might have studied the basic C language, which is a computer language. So you might have studied. So directly we won't jump into the programming part. Before jumping into the programming part, we need to understand what are its different data types which are available for that particular design, and we need to understand how we need to use, so what are these particular data types. So what is the minimum value what we can give for this particular data type, and what is the maximum value what we can give for this particular data type, that we are going to see. And we are going to, if you look into your basic C level programming, so you will be coming up with certain blocks like void main, hash include, stdio.h. So that whole programming part what we are having, so it is its way of writing that particular program in C. But when it comes to HDL, we will be writing our programs in terms of different types of modules. Okay, so how we need to write down these modules, how actually we need to initiate these modules, and how actually we can instantiate these modules, that we are going to study in module 2. So in detail we are going to see all those concepts in module 2, but when it comes to module 3, here is what the actual programming starts. So when it comes to hardware description language, we are having totally different types of modeling techniques. So out of those modeling techniques, in this particular syllabus, you will be learning 3 different types of modeling techniques. So one will be a gate level modeling, and the second will be data flow modeling, and the third will be behavioral modeling. So coming to these 3 different modules, actually we are going to study all these 3 different modules. They each modeling technique has its own way of writing program. Okay, but when it comes to the semiconductor industries, suppose if you are designing any digital circuit, suppose if you are going to write down the program, or if you want to design certain digital circuit, so we are not we are not being stick to only one particular programming language, okay, one programming technique. So the whole programming part the whole Verilog HDL programming part what we are having, it is a mixture of gate level, it is a mixture of gate level, data flow and behavioral. So we will be mixing all these three, and then we are going to come up with a particular digital design. Okay, now let me say that I'm having certain, suppose if I have designed, let us see that we have designed somewhere around like a 4-bit adder. Okay, when it comes to a 4-bit adder, so what actually we are doing, a 4-bit adder is being bought up from a 1-bit single adder, right? So from 1-bit adder we are going to integrate 4 different types of 1-bit adder, and then we are going to integrate these, and then we are going to come up with a 4-bit adder, right? So if you want to write down a programming part, the full adder programming part, what I can do is I can write in terms of gate level modeling. But when it comes to a 4-bit full adder, what I can do is that I can write this particular 4-bit adder in terms of behavioral modeling, or a mixture of gate level and then behavioral modeling. So these type of techniques, what we can do is these are the different types of techniques. So here in module 4 you are going to study behavioral modeling and different tasks and functions. So basically the programming part is being used in gate level modeling, data flow modeling and then behavioral modeling. But there is one more concept, something called tasks and function. This particular tasks and function is being used in order to optimize your code. Okay, suppose let me take an example. Suppose if I have written a program, that program I am going to dump that particular program into a FPGA, whether in real time scenario whether the particular program is going to work or not. Okay, so each FPGA is having its own its own logical elements. So depending upon the designer or depending upon the manufacturer, there are certain logical elements in particular FPGAs. An FPGA might have 3000 logic elements, an FPGA might have 5000 logical elements. It depends on the cost. As your logical elements are going to increase, then the cost of that particular FPGA is also going to increase. So when it comes to any design in terms of industries, there will be a cost optimization. So we need to reduce the cost for that particular design. So when I need to reduce the cost, I need to pick up a smaller logical elements FPGA. So the code which I have written, it should be within that particular logical. Suppose if I have taken 3000 logical elements FPGA, then that particular FPGA should, the code what I have written, it should be less than 3000 logical elements. Suppose if I have written using all these 3 modeling techniques, and if I have synthesized, then my logical elements might reach somewhere around 6000 or 5000 logical elements. So when I need to optimize this code, then I can go for different tasks and functions where we can reduce these logical elements. And in module 5 we are going to study some of the advanced techniques, like how we can, suppose if I have written some parameter, if I have used a parameter in some particular design, how I can override that particular parameter when I am instantiating that particular design in another design. So that is going to be some of the useful modeling techniques, what we can say, that we are going to study. And we are going to see at the end of this particular course, we are going to study logical synthesis with Verilog. So this is a particular tool where we are using in terms of EDA tools, where we are having this logical synthesizer, or we are having something called synthesizer. This synthesizer, what it does is that it is going to convert the program what you have written in terms of HDL into actual hardware circuit. So how this happens, how the synthesizer is going to convert your HDL into actual hardware, so that part we are going to study at the end of this particular course. So when it comes to outcomes, at the end of this course, the student who have studied this Verilog HDL, he or she will be able to memorize the basic Verilog constructs and then concepts. He will be or she will be able to identify different level of abstraction, okay, for a particular digital design, and then they will be able to analyze the given circuit. By analyzing that given particular circuit, they will be able to write a Verilog code for that particular digital circuit in different styles, and they will be able to optimize the code using different tasks and different functions, and they will be able to design a digital circuit for a given problem statement and verify the functionality of that particular design using test benches. So at the end of the course, the students will be able to do all these particular outcomes. Okay. So this is all regarding the overview of your syllabus. So what actually you are going to study in from this particular course, that is being explained in the previous thing. So in the coming to your actual syllabus, from the next session onwards, we shall move on with the evolution of CAD and emergence of HDLs. Thank you.